Hello, this is Gerald Van-Was. Certain words will be much more easy to understand how they are using really specific focuses. Of course, we determine by sound only what the letters are about and which letters they are, but they are also about orientations, and there's a whole theory here in the background that is used for it, which you can learn a little bit, but it needs sometimes also a little bit more than just pointing out the positions and understanding positions. They hang together in a certain way, which makes certain words as combinations of letters a bit more difficult to interpret when you just base yourself rationally upon certain aspects that I explain now and then. So I have an example here of two words where the first word is quite easy to build up and understand, also intuitively. It also is used intuitively by our direct reflections, also to go towards the right positions of where our mind has to go to. And these positions are also determined by the frequencies and by the behavior of its frequencies and how we associate them as well. And we associate them almost in a synesthesia way, how the things that we hear are not just associated with the word immediately as a direct association from there, but also as a kind of behavior that is described by the letters. And I will give you these two examples to make you realize that also more intuitively, so that you get used to what is really happening and what is really described with the letter combinations. So one will be quite easy, but I will repeat also that the frames that I use here I find them practical because I make a distinction between the different areas of focus, and these distinctions you can find them in the frequencies as well. So where we distinct them, how we distinct them. So the lower frequencies, or what we notice in the lower body, let's say, the foundations, are also the foundations of how we associate the things. That where are the foundations? We need foundations. So we have the starting points of focuses that are quite stick to a place also. So they are also associated with placements in that way, and so on. The fixed elements that we use as foundations to build up the building stones, actually the basic building stones. If it's more, our attention goes more to the body, where you have fluctuations and the things are fluctuating into a certain direction. We follow up the directions. We follow up things that need a bit more time, and that's what it is. We need time, and we have also two focuses there. Oh, here it starts, okay, but where does it go to? Okay, it will do something like that. That's already that kind of organization that goes automatically in our mind for certain letters fit to that. And when that's not clear enough, in the higher frequencies, it's unclear where they go to with this the S sound, for instance. Where does it go to? Where does it come from? It gives us an unease to see, okay, but what do we really have here as an element? It's not a steady element. It doesn't go to a specific direction. So we try to see what the effect is. That's the last kind of orientation. And these 1, 2, 3 choices that we always make, also with all of its combinations of choices, gives us these 3 regions times 3, and that makes up all the basic letters. So the foundations, the continuations, and the limitations are determined by these frequencies, or by the letters that are associated with it. So also in 1, 2, or 3 focuses where we determine what is important. Do we find positions? We do that with points. Do we find directions? We do that with the arrows, with directions themselves. Or is it, we don't see it very well. What kind of behavior do we really sense there? And the letters from WARM have all these kinds of orientations. The A and the M are about focusing upon what is the thing. Yeah, what is the thing that we have? How do we deal with that? The directions, it's more like, okay, what direction does it go to? And the R is course, well, yeah, what kind of behavior do we recognize here? What is he doing, and what's the effect upon us, upon the thing that we are describing? That all goes automatically. But I will add also that the orientations that I split here into these three orientations are also quite helpful. It is also a balance between two communicating persons in language. So it's my interpretation as the interpreter, which is also the starting point of the starting points of decisions. Okay, I'll take this element, that element. That's what I understand and describe it. When we deal with what is different, what is someone else's, or what is changing and so on, okay, that's the second person that we're dealing with, and it breaches also our own spatial limitations where nothing has to move. Now we have to move towards the other to understand. The W is already in the area of the second kind of orientations into two options. It means we start from ourselves, but we also look at what is different, what are the changes. We go towards the other. So we breach our space, our spatial orientation, and our orientation in W breaches also the own spatial area of us, the interpreter, to see, okay, what else do we have here? What's going beyond that? So it breaches that personal space, goes towards the other space. That's the W, that's what the W will be doing. It's one of these things. There's this whole behavior to it as well. But okay, that's already one thing which is important. And I have this area of focus from my which is then followed up by the next letter A. The next letter A is still about my focus. So I'm relating it to my own focus, my own choices, my own starting point of reference. So I will use this W, which is already breaching my own vision, as a starting point of reference. So how can I do that practically? Let's do that practically. Beyond every point also is a direction. These directions are not so important, but they can help us to see, okay, but what's the tendency of direction if I continue to keep on using this point of reference. With A, it's on the from the first of three categories, it's horizontal. Second category is of course vertical, the last one is diagonal. So also there are rules for how to use it. So in the A, I extend my starting point. I don't change my starting point, but I extend it so that I can keep up with it. So I have an opinion, I keep that opinion, or I follow it up as an opinion. I'm learning still. The A is a learning place to get to a fixed point and definition, but I'm learning. It's my choice. I follow it up, but I'm not going to immediately change. I'm just going to see, what do I see there, and I follow that up, so I continue my foundation up until that point where the W is, because that will be my starting point for my reference to see, what do I have here a bit further on. And of course, this whole area has extended my own vision of my experience, my basic experience, which is fixed and doesn't change anything, is already changed at that point, because it follows up what goes beyond my own standard experience, and it's also bodily experience as well. It goes beyond that point where it remains fixed as well, so it will have some variations of extensions in a certain way. It extends its experience from there. And next letter will be the R. What is the R? Is from the last category. Here I'm going to see how far does this go, because that's where the limitations in the end always are about. How far does it go, and how does man can experience what is going on there as far as it can go. It makes a connection to how far it's going to extend. So it checks this as a continuous situation in the background, which can repeat itself in all of variations that you can handle, because that's the last category is about finding a definition which can be different at a different place and different time and can be different at all times, but it still is a definition. It makes connection to that definition, and it makes connection to where it enhances in that W there. Enhances in a way like it's it's a lot. It doesn't say it's enlarging, it's enhancing. It's going to see what else do I have? What do I have? What do I really have as well? With a W as well. And the R is always in two directions, so it starts from where I'm left off to the W, and I go also from there to somewhere else, or I can check from there to where and in all directions, so that I have this continuous definition in the background that I'm defining right now. And now I have a slight helping tool as well. It's also, of course, all about vibrations. If these vibrations are described, the vibrations in A are these vibrations around me. With W, it lingers on a little bit, can go more up and go higher. It's the 2 times vertical also means, yeah, we have a kind of vibration, and then with the W, yeah, it lingers on a little bit into the height or length. It could be as well, but height or in general, how it is extending itself until it loses almost its rest value actually. But that's the basis how you can describe it, the W as well. But it starts from the W, not from the whole person itself. It starts from there, so I have already a starting point. What is going on with this with our vibration that we are describing? The M gives us a clue where we have to end our focus. What is the result, and what is the result that we are focusing upon? M is about physicality, extensions of physicality. M is like extending our focus towards all directions, that we realize it will conclude into an extension. The maximum extension of the letter M is followed up, and that's what it's doing there. So that's why more vibrations are added, and it goes in all directions. That's warmth, which is indeed also increasing in the air or in the body or wherever that is. That's where the focus is going to. So warm wasn't really too difficult to follow. Hot is a bit different, because I'm already certain it will not be about vibrations. It will, because there's not likely that we don't have the letter W involved. We have a first letter which is about focus. The other one is about direction. The other one is about pointing out a spatial reference. So it could be confusing to say, oh, but how could hot then be an extended version of warm? It's not an extended version of warm. It describes something else, and that's what we're going to find out. Of course, you need to understand what I'm describing with the letters, or what is described in the letters. Here we have the 3 letters, just 3 letters, again, from the 3 kinds of focuses, will in its totality describe a certain condition. So what is this condition about? The condition focuses with the starting point of H. It has no reference, but it is about a frame. At its own, it has no reference. Frames of the continuations are in the background, but I choose the H as the middle frame, so that's the frame which is up. Also, it's up into the, if I make distinction between the 3 in the upper layer, it's in between these 3 layers. I'm always determining the basis, the continuations, or the ongoing things which are described also with where the H has also a placement there. But I can't find the placement exactly yet. Because placement is the last letter. T is about placement. H is only about framing my focus. Where will that focus go to? At that point, at this point, with 1 letter only. You don't see it yet. It's just that I can focus upon my focus where things can thrive, actually, basically, It is all the last letters are about the feedback process, the real reality, where the things are as they are, and they can continue to be that way. That's why you also can describe them into dimensions. It's where the things are, and they always are there, but they are only appearing at a certain point, at a certain time, where the definitions are met. That's basically the last category. So we have the localization, in a certain way, of our limits of understanding, of our limits of finding, or limits of experience, whatever that can be. We're going to limit our definition, the frame. There we have that definition. That's basically what it is. But H is also about that maximum feedback that you can have. It's about feedback. The feedback comes completely back to you. You don't decide. It's something from the outside world. It's not from you. It's something that decides on its own. There it will thrive. What will thrive will be described in the next letter. But it's about focus, mainly about focus. Or is certainly about focus as well. It's about direction of focus. And there we determine in the time frame what will be the moment. The moment where the definition can be applied to. At which moment will that be is determined by adding the letter O. At the same time, when we describe again the placement or the space, then the timing, or what's going beyond your own space, or all other spaces, what is different and so on. And the last one is the full space where all things are always all the time. Here it's a contemporary condition with O. It's a contemporary condition, and it's going beyond your own frame, and it's going to be beyond your own space, and it has a limited condition, so only under certain circumstances it has an extension. That's the description already with H and O combined. The T in the end will only about localization, explaining, where is it? Where can I define this thing? And it will be placed, of course, because that's what T is about. It's a placement, and what it will place is, of course, it comes from the moment. The moment will place it. And it can place the moment within, of course, again, I'm going back to the first letter, within these framed conditions. There is a moment. There's a moment where the space has extended into a certain limited contemporary time frame where you have these conditions, where conditions are met. H as well is an openness. It gives that opening to it. So here you have an opening to it. So it gives the opportunity to it. Often you can be described or remembered as air, because ha is also breath. It's a breath of air. It gives an openness to this situation. Here it is. And it gives opportunities as well. Here we have the opportunity. So while all what is possible is in continuation in the background, the opening that it will give will be progress, of course, because H is about the opening towards progress. There's the moment where you have it. And here the focus is not upon, it is upon a localization and not upon a material. So you cannot, it's not a description of a material that has been as a over-the-top warmth or something like that. No, it is more a kind of localization that says that doesn't refer to the body or the material, but the association that the letters will give will also be explained a little bit better if you can see where is it applied, where do you can see where hot is used. And a very good word for that is hotspot. Hotspot does not want to say that it's very warm there and that it's heated up. No, hotspot again says is about a focus. Here the focus is, and the focus is it gives all the opportunity that something can grow out of our normal environment and grow there, and it, of course you could have more energy in there, but it's more that situation that you can recognize at a certain space. or the hot spot, even if I add the letters that will increase, indeed increase that focus, this pressure towards the right direction, and with the T again upon the direction, all gives you the refocusing and refocusing again about that, upon that localization of where are all these vivid conditions, because much more than that is actually not described, if you ask me. Of course, I could say more about these things, but it should be clear enough what these words are all about, and how you can also learn to recognize them yourself, also by knowing already a little bit, getting used a bit to the theory that I have there in the background. Okay, if you want to prepare yourself, just mentally mostly, just read these two books then, let's say, The Application of the Word and The Development of the Word, or two in one in sounding form. Maybe it's better to have these two separately, because there are some additions there as well. The practical thing, how you really come to, it's best, you can first get used to all the angles, to different angles, because if you just learn something that you can build up with in a certain way, always in the same way, you forget to think. You have to see things from all angles, with all the possibilities that you have, and you can only do that by seeing it from all these different angles, in different ways, with different methods, with different effects and so on, that you also experience what kind of effect that you have before you really can start to make associations yourself. Okay, thanks again for watching. Bye.